Here's a nice puzzle you can play with the kids on a rainy day on the sailboat.
A sailboat in the moonlight and June. Wouldn't that be heaven? Oh, heaven just for two. A soft breeze on a June night and what a perfect setting for letting dreams come true.
Well, we're getting so close to launch time that I've got to take a quick look at that engine. And one issue we did have is late in the year when I was winterizing the boat, I did not get enough water into the system before the impeller, which is probably dried out and quite aged, lost all of its fins. So, before we start things up again, we want to account for each one of these. And they should be collected somewhere in the engine. And so what we're going to do is back flush the engine back to the impeller compartment. We're going to try and catch all the water, and then we'll count the pieces that we managed to collect. You don't want one of these fins, and they look like this. Here's a new one. You don't want one of these fins plugging up the works and overheating your engine. So before we put the new one in, that's what we'll do. The way I'm going to do it is we're going to put this hose, the sprayer, inside the line that feeds the injector. And when I say injector, I mean the exhaust injector. Water is injected into the exhaust in order to cool it, and it's sort of the last place that water is pumped through the boat before it actually goes into the exhaust. So by putting back pressure on this, judging by the diagram I've seen, I'm going to be able to pressurize water through the oil cooler, actually first through the block cooler, the heat exchanger, and then through the oil cooler, and then it'll come out the impeller pump housing, which is open right now. And so the outsea hole on the impeller will spew out water and bits of impeller, hopefully. So I think we're ready to go. Let's get that bucket sorted out. Oh, they're coming out. Look at them. We're saving all this rubber. I've got it all in a box here. We're going to kind of roughly reassemble things to make sure we've got the majority of the offending bits. This is why you check your impeller regularly. Now, I did check my impeller regularly, but when we tried to start the motor in order to draw in antifreeze, some RV antifreeze, I was going to circulate that through the system and have it use the pickup where this motor would normally suck out of the lake. It was supposed to suck out of a pail, but there was like an airlock or something. I couldn't quite get it to pick up, and I think it just ran itself dry. It could be because the O-ring maybe was worn out on the impeller casing, or the backing plate was worn or something like that. It was sucking air. So anyway, it was not intentional. We did maintain things properly, but anyway, it is what it is. Okay, here's the new impeller, here's the old impeller, and here's a nice puzzle you can play with the kids on a rainy day on the sailboat. What I'd like to do is figure out how many of these blades I have captured using my little trick. So let's get started by counting how many blades there are on the impeller. So this one with the little hook is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So there's a total of 12 blades. Each blade has a little bead on the top of it, so we can sort out those beads. We can find those beads. It'd be a good thing. So there's 1. There's 2. So you can see I've got the majority of 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, maybe 6 blades. But then I've got the minority bits of 5 others. So somewhere in that system, I'm still looking for more rubber. So we got to do some more digging, folks. This ought to be fun. Okay, we'll get this bucket back down here. I got it propped up in just the right way so it's catching all the water, or most of it anyway. Okay. Keep on pumping. Okay, I got a couple more. I'd say that that's a full one. And this is just a part one. And down in the bilges digging around, I think I've got the majority now of the rubber from this impeller that imploded. So there are bits left on it yet, and I think I've got pretty well all of it. I'm going to seal things up now in preparation for launch, which I hope is tomorrow. Wendover's just about ready to go back in the water. We've got the paint all finished and she's looking lovely. The only thing we need to add now are the fenders that are going to protect her sides when we put her in the water. And Dock Edge has kindly come on board for this project, and they've provided us with lovely centerline fenders, color matched to the boat. Dock Edge also sent us Titan fender lines that we'll add to these fenders, and we've got 3 of them for both sides, so Wendover will be well protected. Now these lines would normally be used for fenders with eyes on both ends, but we like to be able to use this for storage in the winter months. So at the bottom of the fender, this creates a little loop that we can hang off of a peg in our storage unit or in one of our lockers. final thing we like to do with our fender lines is at the end, we like to have a little knot, just so when you're sliding the fenders down, when you reach the knot, you don't drop the fender in the water. Little trick. Center line fenders, which are color matched to the boat, no less. And we're going to install these lines and get some fenders on either side of the boat so you don't bump into